Good morning, jurors. Welcome back. People, your next witness.
The people call Sally Franklin.
Witness entering. Step right over to this officer.
Good morning.
Raise your right hand and face the court clerk. Thank you. Have a seat, please. Pull your chair up close to the microphone, all the way up. State your full name, spelling your last name.
Sally Franklin, Franklin.
Give us your county of residence, please.
Westchester County, New York.
Good morning. You may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Miss Franklin.
Good morning.
Now can you tell the jury where you work?
Penguin Random House.
What kind of company is Penguin Random House?
We publish books.
How long have you worked in the publishing industry?
For 26 years.
How long have you worked at Penguin Random House?
For 11 years.
What is your current position there?
Senior Vice President and Executive Managing Editor for the Random House Publishing Group.
And can you explain to the jury what the Random House Publishing Group is?
Yes, it is a division in Penguin Random House that comprises about 20 imprints, and imprints are like brands of books.
Are you familiar with something called Ballantine Books?
Yes, I am. That is one of our imprints.
Have you testified in a legal proceeding before?
No.
This is your first time today?
Yes.
Do you understand that you are testifying today as a custodian of records for Penguin Random House?
I do.
Is Penguin Random House testifying voluntarily, or was the company compelled to testify personally through a subpoena?
Compelled.
And does Penguin Random House have counsel?
Yes.
Is counsel here today in the courtroom?
Yes.
As a senior vice president and executive managing editor of the Random House Publishing Group, are you familiar with the company's publishing processes?
Yes.
Does Penguin Random House work with its authors during different stages of the publishing process?
Yes.
Are there points in Random House's publishing process when authors sign off on various aspects of their books?
Yes, they have approval.
And does one thing that authors have approval over is the cover decision for their books?
That is correct.
Do they also approve the content of the books?
Yes.
Is that called a manuscript?
Yes.
Is a manuscript ever printed without the author's approval?
No.
Are you familiar with the book entitled Trump, How to Get Rich?
Yes, I am.
What is that?
It is a book that we published about 20 years ago.
Was it published under the Ballantine Books imprint?
Yes.
Before testifying today, did you obtain a copy of the book printed by Penguin Random House?
I did.
How did you obtain that?
I ordered it directly from the warehouse, publishing warehouse.
Did you order it the way that a member of the public would order it?
No, I did it through our company's website with a special way to get it directly from the warehouse.
And that's just for Penguin Random House employees?
That's correct.
Was it delivered to you directly from the warehouse?
Yes.
Are you familiar with another book, this one entitled Trump, Think Like a Billionaire, Everything You Need to Know About Success, Real Estate and Life?
Yes, I am.
What is that?
That is another book we published about 20 years ago from Ballantine.
And before testifying today, did you obtain a copy of that book as printed by Penguin Random House?
I did.
And how did you obtain that book?
The same way. I ordered it from the warehouse.
And that was through the employee website?
Yes.
And it was delivered to you directly from the warehouse?
Correct.
Before testifying today, did you have an opportunity to review files marked for identification as People's Exhibits 413 and 414?
I did.
Did that include People's Exhibits 413A through D?
Yes.
And did that also include what has been marked for identification as People's Exhibits 414A through D?
Yes.
Is Exhibit 413 for identification a set of excerpts from the book entitled Trump, How to Get Rich?
Yes.
Do some of the passages, withdrawn? Do some of the pages in the exhibits contain redactions?
Yes, they do.
Before testifying today, did you have an opportunity to compare People's Exhibit 413 with a copy of the book that you obtained directly from Penguin Random House?
I did.
Other than the redactions, are the exhibits exact copies of portions of the publisher's version of the book?
Yes, they are.
And is Exhibit 414 for identification a set of excerpts from the book entitled Trump, Think Like a Billionaire, Everything You Need to Know About Success, Real Estate and Life?
Yes.
Do some of the pages of those exhibits contain redactions?
Yes, they do.
Before testifying today, did you have an opportunity to compare People's Exhibits 414 for identification with a copy of the book that you obtained directly from Penguin Random House?
I did.
Other than the redactions, are the exhibits exact copies of the portions of the publisher's version of the book?
They are.
The people now offer People's Exhibits 413, including 413A through B, and People's Exhibits 414, including 414A through D, into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection.
People's 413A through E and 414A through D are accepted into evidence.
All right. So can we show the jury and everyone what is now in evidence as People's Exhibit 413? Ms. Franklin, do you recognize this?
I do. It's the cover of the book.
And which book is it the cover of?
Trump, How to Get Rich.
And what does it say under the title of the book?
Big Deals from the Star of The Apprentice.
Who is the author of this book?
Donald J. Trump.
And does it list a name under Donald J. Trump?
Yes, it does. It lists Meredith McIver.
And does it say with Meredith McIver?
Yes, it does.
What does the with mean there?
That means that she helped write the book. Donald J. Trump is the primary author. Meredith McIver helped.
And looking now at the cover design for the book, is there a cover photo on the book?
I'm sorry, is there a cover photo?
I'm sorry. Is there a cover photo for the cover of the book?
Yes.
What's depicted in the cover photo?
Donald J. Trump.
And what's the largest word on the cover?
Trump.
And what percentage of the cover is the word Trump?
It looks about roughly 30% to me.
How many times does the word Trump appear on the cover of this book?
3 times.
Turning now to the following page of the PDF. Do you know what this is?
Yes, this is the title page.
And this is the internal title page for the book?
Correct.
And again, what percentage of the page is the word Trump?
It looks to me like it's about 25%, 20%.
And is the imprint for the book shown on this page?
Yes, it's Ballantine Books.
Turning now to the following page. Do you recognize this?
Yes, this is the copyright page for the book.
And does it also show the publication information for the book?
It does.
Can you tell what year this book was first published?
Yes, this book was first published in 2004.
And can you tell what year this edition was published?
Yes, 2004.
Is there copyright notice on the page?
Yes, it's copyright by Donald J. Trump.
Is there anybody else listed next to the copyright?
No, there is not.
All right. Can we please show the jury what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 413A? What is this?
This is a page from the text, page 3 from the interior of the book.
Is there a title on this page?
Yes, it is Be a General.
And can you read the unredacted portion of the text?
Yes, I am the chairman and president of the Trump Organization. I like saying that because it means a great deal to me.
And are there words on the very bottom of the page above the page number?
Yes, they say the Donald J. Trump School of Business and Management.
Turning now to what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 413B. Is this another excerpt from the same book?
Yes, page 71.
And can you please read the title shown on this page?
Pay attention to the details.
Can you please read the unredacted portion of the page?
If you don't know every aspect of what you're doing, down to the paper clips, you're setting yourself up for some unwelcome surprises.
And again, are there in smaller letters above the page numbers? Is there something written there?
Yes, it says your personal apprenticeship career advice from the Donald.
Turning now to what's in evidence as 413C. Is this another excerpt from the same book?
Yes, page 162.
And what is the title of this on this page?
Sometimes you still have to screw them.
Can you please read the unredacted portion of this excerpt?
For many years I've said that if someone screws you, screw them back. When somebody hurts you, you just go after them as viciously and as violently as you can. Like it says in the Bible, an eye for an eye.
Now, can we please display for the jury what is in evidence as People's Exhibit 413D? Is this another excerpt from the same book?
Yes, page 203.
Can you please read the unredacted portion of this page to the jury?
3 p.m., Alan Weisselberg, my CFO, comes in for a meeting. He's been with me for 30 years and keeps a handle on everything, which is not an easy job. He runs things beautifully. His team is tight and fast, and so are our meetings.
And what does it say in the small lettering above the page number?
The Trump lifestyle.
And next, can we turn to what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 413E? Is this another excerpt from the book Trump, How to Get Rich?
Yes, page 267.
Can you read the unredacted portion of this page?
All the women on The Apprentice flirted with me consciously or unconsciously. That's to be expected. A sexual dynamic is always present between people unless you are asexual.
And what does it say in the small letters at the bottom of the page?
Inside The Apprentice.
Can we now show the jury what is evidence as People's Exhibit 414? Do you recognize this?
Yes, it's the cover of Think Like a Billionaire.
Is that the full title?
The full title is Trump, Think Like a Billionaire. Everything you need to know about success, real estate, and life.
Who is the author?
Donald J. Trump.
Is there another name listed under his?
Yes, that's with Meredith McIver.
And again, what does with indicate here?
It means that they have helped the primary author with the book.
And is there a picture of somebody on the cover of the book?
Yes, it's Donald J. Trump.
Is anybody else shown on the cover of the book?
No.
And in terms of cover design, what is the largest font on this page?
Trump.
Turning now to the next page. Is this the title page of the same book?
It is.
And does it show that it was printed by the Ballantine Books imprint?
It does.
Turning now to the following page. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do. It's the copyright page.
And does this also show the publishing information?
It does.
Can you tell what year this book was first published?
It was first published in hardcover in 2004.
And can you tell what year this edition was published?
Yes, 2005.
And does this also show the ultimate publisher of the book?
Yes, Ballantine.
And is there copyright on this page?
Yes, it's copyright by Donald J. Trump.
Are there any other names next to the copyright?
No, there are not.
Turning now to what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 414A, displaying that for the jury. Is this an excerpt of that same book?
It is page 41.
And can you please read the unredacted portion of this page?
When you are working with a decorator, make sure you ask to see all of the invoices. Decorators are, by nature, honest people, but you should be double-checking regardless.
Now, turning to what is in evidence as People's Exhibit 414B. Can you please scroll through the pages of this exhibit for the jury? Ms. Franklin, does this show 3 pages of the same book, How to Be a Billionaire?
Yes, pages 63 through 65.
And is this one chapter of the book?
Yes, it is.
What's the title of this chapter?
How to Pinch Pennies.
And can you please read the unredacted portions of this exhibit?
Yes.
I will blow that up for you if it's too small. Can we make it bigger?
It's fine for me. Okay. When Spy magazine started years ago, they decided to do a Who is the Cheapest Millionaire test. They sent checks in the amounts from 50 cents to $5 to a list of millionaires throughout the country. I received a check for 50 cents, and we at the Trump Organization deposited it. They may call that cheap. I call it watching the bottom line. Every dollar counts in business, and for that matter, every dime. Penny pinching? You bet, I'm all for it. As I said before, I always sign my checks, so I know where my money's going. In the same spirit, I also always try to read my bills to make sure I'm not being overcharged. Can you? Thank you. There is human and now computer error everywhere, at restaurants, at the phone company, at the grocery store, at hotels, and you'd be surprised by how much this human error can cost you. Don't be obsessive about it, but check through your bills from time to time. You should also always feel comfortable bargaining for goods and services. I do it all the time, and I'm one of the richest men on earth. Even in high-end shops, I bargain. After all, the more you're paying for something, the more the seller should be able to shave off the price. I hate paying retail, and it makes me cringe when I see other people doing it. I've walked into stores and offered $2,000 for a $10,000 item. It can be embarrassing for me, especially since everyone knows that I'm Trump and that I'm wealthy. But you'd be amazed at the discounts you can get if you simply ask. You do have to be willing to walk away, but after you've walked away a few times, the price will come down. I understand that penny pinching can have a negative connotation, as in miserly, but when you calculate how much 10 cents on a price can matter if you multiply it by 100,000 or 1,000,000, the value of 10 cents becomes clear. For instance, let's say I have to buy 100,000 light bulbs for all of the buildings that I own and maintain each year. If I manage to save 10 cents on each light bulb, that's a savings of $10,000 per year. That's $10,000 I can put toward another building or another investment or donate to a cause that needs the money more than I do. Pay attention to the small numbers in your finances, such as percentages and cents. Numbers that seem trivial add up and have enormous implications. My parents hammered frugality into me at an early age, and it's the most important money management skill a person can use. Call it penny pinching if you want to. I call it financial smarts.
Thank you. Can you pull up for the jury what's in evidence as People's 414C? Ms. Franklin, is this another chapter of Trump, How to Be a Billionaire?
Yes, pages 66 and 67.
What is the chapter title?
How to decide how much risk to assume, how to decide how much risk to assume when investing.
Can you please read for the jury the unredacted portion of this chapter?
You need to watch the bottom line. Alan Weisselberg, my chief financial officer, has to be one of the toughest people in business when it comes to money. When I was having some financial problems in the early 1990s, I called Alan into my office and told him there would be tough times ahead. The banks were about to cut off our funding. Alan said no problem, and went back to his office, where he proceeded to renegotiate almost every payment from that point forward. He did whatever was necessary to protect the bottom line and refused to succumb to the pressures of risk. Now he's negotiating with bankers on deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's so tough that most banks would rather I negotiate the deal than him. He's a loyal employee, and he's the ultimate master at playing the cards of business.
And then lastly, can we pull up what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 414D? Ms. Franklin, is this another chapter of the book, Trump, How to Be a Billionaire?
Yes, pages 68 and 69.
What is the chapter title?
How to Stay on Top of Your Finances.
And can you please read the unredacted portion of this chapter to the jury?
Periodically, I ask my financial department for what I call my financial small shot. This report reflects, among other financial data, my cash balances, investments, sales of condominium units, and so forth. If I didn't check up on it regularly, I would be in big financial trouble, and I would have no one to blame but myself. Don't assume that your stocks are performing well, or that your house is appreciating in value, or that your business is growing just because someone tells you it is. Always look at the numbers yourself. If things turn grim, you're the one left holding the checkbook. One day back in the late 1980s, Jeff McConney, my controller, prepared my small shot and brought it to me. I looked down at it and immediately told Jeff, "You're fired." I told him I didn't want excuses, and I thought he was doing a lousy job managing my cash. Although I am a multi-billionaire and I head a multi-billion-dollar organization, every dollar spent by this company comes out of my pocket. The point I was making to Jeff was that even though various payments always need to be made, always question invoices and never accept a contractor's first bid. Negotiate, or get out. Jeff got the message and has been with me for 17 years and is doing a terrific job. He looks out for my bottom line as if the money were his own.
No further questions.
You may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. How are you, Ms. Franklin?
Okay, thank you.
Now, you said you are represented by lawyers. You are not paying for your own lawyers, are you?
No.
So you mentioned that on both of these books, there's a second name on the front page, Meredith McIver, correct?
Yes.
And is what? Is her role sometimes called a ghostwriter?
It depends. Sure, I'm not sure exactly how much she did for that book, but sure, she could be a ghostwriter.
So when you said you're not sure, you mean you don't know what role Ms. McIver had in these two books?
I don't know how much she contributed. I know that Donald Trump was the author of the book. I'm not sure how exactly specifically she contributed.
And you're not sure because it varies depending on the book, the primary author, and if there is a secondary author, it could vary, correct?
Yes.
So at times, does someone like Ms. McIver sit and interview the primary author as the book is written?
I'm not sure exactly again what she did.
I'm not asking you what she did.
Okay.
I'm just asking you, in your experience, is that something that happened at times?
I think that she would have discussed it with him.
And there are times when a secondary author interviews other people to help the primary author write the book?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
But you don't know what role Miss McIver had in either of these books at all, correct?
I don't. All I know is that she helped our primary author in some way.
And you said you purchased both these books in kind of the way any of us, or similar to the way we would purchase the book?
No, the way that I purchased it is the way that an employee of Penguin Random House would purchase it.
So if we could put up Exhibit 413, just the first page briefly, this can go for everybody. Who decides how to make the cover? Like what the cover should look like?
It's usually we have a cover design department here, and then they usually work with the author.
And is one of the goals of how you make the cover look to make it look presentable so that you can sell copies of the book?
One of our goals is selling copies of the book, but our goal is to make the authors happy also. But yes, we definitely want to sell copies of our book.
Your goal is to make the authors happy, or what do you mean?
If they have approval over the cover, we consider that. We also want to sell the book.
Sure. And because you are trying to make money off the book, correct?
That is correct.
And for this book, which is How to Get Rich, that book, it was about 320 pages, correct? Approximately?
I would have to double-check it.
Are you looking at it now?
I can look at it, yes. It is approximately 320 pages.
And you were just shown redacted versions of 5 of those pages, correct? And asked to read those portions?
Yes.
If we could put up Exhibit 414, please. For this book, you know that, or maybe you will need to check that it's approximately 283 pages.
Yes, 288.
Just so it's clear, you actually have both books in front of you?
A witness indicating.
And now are you holding it up to just confirm?
Yes.
And you were asked to read, a few minutes ago, redacted portions of about 6 pages of that 283-page book, correct?
Yes, I don't remember the exact page, but yes, several pages.
And you didn't pick which portions to read, did you? You just read what you were directed to read, correct?
That is correct.
I don't have any further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Franklin, I believe Mr. Blanche was asking you about the ghostwriting process. In your experience.
Yes, I'm sorry.
In your experience, do ghostwriters ever write entire books without the author's knowledge?
No.
In your experience, do ghostwriters ever create content without any input from the author?
No.
And is it your understanding that an author works for a ghostwriter, or does a ghostwriter work for the author?
The ghostwriter works for the author.
And are you aware of any books written by ghostwriters where the author wasn't aware of the content of the book?
No, I am not.
Before testifying today, did you have an opportunity to review People's Exhibit 414 F, G, and H for identification?
Yes.
And are those excerpts of the book How to Get Rich?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to compare the exhibits with the copies of the book that you purchased?
I did.
And are the exhibits exact copies of the book that you purchased or portions of it?
They are.
The people now offer exhibits 413F, 413G, and 413H into evidence.
One moment, Your Honor.
All right.
Counsel confer.
May we approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
At sidebar.
Yes, Mr. Blanche.
I just don't think these were on our exhibit list, Your Honor, and so I have never seen them before.
I am not required to provide redirect examination exhibits. And, obviously, the redirect exhibits will depend on the cross-examination.
Well, what was the cross-examination that opened this up?
Tell me how this goes to the cross.
So exhibits 413, and there are similar ones for 414, are the dedication page, the introduction and the acknowledgments page of each of those books, showing quotes from the author and information that is within the primary author's unique knowledge. And to the extent that the defense is challenging attribution, these establish that the defendant was aware of statements in his throughout his book.
In no way did I challenge attribution. I just asked the witness to explain what a ghostwriter was, if she had any knowledge about the ghostwriter. That's not challenging attribution even a little bit.
You questioned that it was possible that there were contents in that book that you are not attributing to your client, that possibly it was written by the ghostwriter. I think it's fair.
I'm not allowed to introduce exhibits that were never produced to the people, Your Honor. We did not open the door based upon a question about just what a ghostwriter is and what a ghostwriter may do. Also, Your Honor, as to exhibits that were not produced to the defense.
You just asked one question about it?
Excuse me?
You just asked one question about it, about a ghostwriter.
To help the jury understand what a ghostwriter is, not about this particular book. She has no knowledge about this book.
Your Honor, they also previously elicited testimony from Rona Graff that Meredith McIver was a ghostwriter for Mr. Trump. And they raised objections in limine that these exhibits should not be introduced altogether, that not of these exhibits can be attributed to Mr. Trump. So that all of these...
Based on your cross-examination, the impression that I got from the questions that you were asking was that you were calling into question just how much control Mr. Trump had with the contents of the book. I think this is fair. I will allow it.
Well, Your Honor.
Sidebar concluded.
Again, the people offer exhibits 413F, 413G, and 413H into evidence. Your Honor, with your permission, can those exhibits be admitted?
The objection is noted and overruled. People's 413 F, G, and H are accepted into evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can we please display for the jury what is in evidence as People's Exhibit 413F? Now, Ms. Franklin, I believe that you previously testified that this exhibit and the next two are excerpts from the book, Trump, How to Get Rich. Is that right?
Yes.
And is this a page from that book?
It is.
Is this the dedication page?
It is not. It's the epigraph page.
What's the epigraph page? Am I saying that correctly?
I'm sorry, it's a quote like usually the dedication, the author dedicates the book to somebody. It's usually a quote from somebody very important that the author wants to highlight to set up the book.
And how many quotes are on this page?
2.
And who is the top quote attributed to?
Mary Trump, the author's mother.
And who is the bottom quote attributed to?
The author, Donald J. Trump.
Does it say Donald J. Trump?
No, it says DJT. You are right. I apologize.
And in your experience, are quotes attributed to the author's mother something that would typically be written by the ghostwriter or the author?
The author.
Can we now please display for the jury what has been entered into evidence as People's Exhibit 413G? Can we show briefly all of the pages of this exhibit? Ms. Franklin, do you know what part of the book this is?
Yes, it's the introduction.
Can you please turn to the second page? It looks like we may be having some technical difficulties. There you go. And can you see the paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4 full paragraphs down, starting with how to get rich?
Yes.
Can you please read that paragraph to the jury?
Yes. How to get rich, that's what I decided to call it, because whenever I meet people, that's usually what they want to know from me. You ask a baker how he makes bread. You ask a billionaire how he makes money.
And in your experience, is that the type of content that would typically be provided by a ghostwriter or the author?
The author.
Finally, can we pull up what's now in evidence as People's Exhibit 413H? Is this another excerpt from the book Trump, How to Get Rich?
Yes.
What section is this?
The acknowledgments.
Can you please read the first paragraph of this to the jury?
Yes, this book could not have been written without Meredith McIver, a writer of many talents. She served her apprenticeship with the New York City Ballet, worked on Wall Street, and for the past 2 years has been an executive assistant at the Trump Organization, stationed at a desk outside my office. As you know, my door is always open, so Meredith has heard everything and she's taken good notes. She's done a remarkable job of helping me put my thoughts and experience on paper. I am tremendously grateful to her.
Now, is the author's description of a secondary writer helping put thoughts and experiences on paper consistent with your understanding of what a ghostwriter does?
Yes.
And can you please turn to the next page of this exhibit? And can you please read this page to the jury?
I want to thank my editor at Random House, Jonathan Karp, who asked me to write this book. I first met John in 1997 when he edited The Art of the Comeback. He spent a lot of time in my office, and one day I noticed he was staring at the carpet under my desk. Finally, he said, "Donald, what's the deal with the space heater? I told him that my feet get cold." John said, "We're in Trump Tower. It's your building. Can't you do something about that?" It's important to have an editor who asks the tough questions. I'm also grateful to many others at Random House who worked long and late hours to produce this book in record time. Publisher Gina Centralio, Associate Publishers Anthony Zaccardi and Elizabeth McGuire, Executive Director of Publicity Carol Schneider, Director of Publicity Thomas Perry, Associate Director of Publicity Elizabeth Fogarty, Editorial Assistants Jonathan Zhao, who did an excellent job with the photos, and Casey Rivish, Art Director Jean Midlowski, Managing Editor Benjamin Dreyer, Production Chief Lisa Fewer, Design Director Carol Lowenstein, Production Manager Richard Ellman, Production Editor Janet Weigel, Copy Editor Ginny Carroll, Advertising Director McGee Finn, Rights Directors Claire Tyson and Rachel Bernstein, and everyone at the Random House sales force, which is the best in the business.
Do you recognize the names referenced on this page?
Yes.
Are those all employees of Penguin Random House, or were they at some time?
Yes.
And in your experience, is this type of content consistent with something an author would write who was very involved in the writing process?
Yes.
Now, before testifying today, did you also have the opportunity to review what has been marked for identification as People's Exhibits 414E, 414F, and 414G?
I did.
Are those additional excerpts from the book How to Be a Billionaire?
Yes.
And
Think Like a Billionaire.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Think Like a Billionaire. Did you compare the exhibits to the versions of the book that you purchased?
Yes.
And are the exhibits exact copies of portions of that book?
They are.
The people now offer exhibits 414E, F, and G into evidence.
No objection.
Accepted into evidence.
Now, can we please display for the jury what is in evidence as People's Exhibit 414E? And can you remind me what you called this page?
This is the epigraph page.
And are there multiple quotes on this page?
Yes, there are 3.
And who is the top quote attributed to?
The author's father, Fred Trump.
And is this the type of thing that would come from a ghostwriter or the author?
Author.
Can we now show the jury what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 414F? And can you flip through the pages of this exhibit, please? Ms. Franklin, do you know what this is?
Yes, this is the introduction for Think Like a Billionaire.
And looking at the first page of the exhibit, is that page d'Avertoine?
Yes.
Roman numeral 11?
Yes.
Can you please read the bottom paragraph of that page?
In my previous book, How to Get Rich, I shared some of my favorite techniques for running a profitable business and becoming a TV megastar. Consider this new book the second part of an ongoing conversation between you and the Donald. The Billionaire's equivalent of those best-selling works of inspiration, Conversations with God and Conversations with God, Book 2.
Can we please turn to the next page of the exhibit, please? And can you read the last 2 full paragraphs on the second page of the exhibit?
Here's something else about God that any billionaire knows. He's in the details, and you need to be there too. I couldn't run a business any other way. When I'm talking to a contractor or examining a site or planning a new development, no detail is too small to consider. I even try to sign as many checks as possible. For me, there's nothing worse than a computer signing a check. When you sign a check yourself...
I'm sorry, was it a computer signing a check?
Oh, sorry. For me, there's nothing worse than a computer signing checks. When you sign a check yourself, you're seeing what's really going on inside your business. And if people see your signature at the bottom of a check, they know you're watching them, and they screw you less because they have proof that you care about the details.
And can we show this paragraph in combination with the next full paragraph, please? Can you read the next full paragraph, please?
I learned how to think like a billionaire by watching my father, Fred Trump. He was the greatest man I'll ever know and the biggest influence on my life.
Ms. Franklin, in your experience, are references to the author's childhood something that would typically come from the author or the ghostwriter?
The author.
And is the content of this portion of the introduction consistent with the other content from the books that we've looked at?
Yes.
Can we please now turn to People's Exhibit 414G, already in evidence? Can you describe what this is?
The acknowledgments for Think Like a Billionaire.
And can you read the first sentence of this to the jury, please?
Like my previous book, How to Get Rich, this book never would have happened without the hard work and help of Meredith McIver. Also, Norma Forderer, who manages my schedule, kept this project on schedule.
And, again, is this consistent with your understanding of how authors and ghostwriters work together?
Yes.
And then can you read to yourself the next paragraph, please?
To myself.
Yeah, just to yourself. You don't need to read the whole thing.
Got it.
Like the acknowledgement section of the prior book, does this section of the acknowledgements of this book also list employees of Penguin Random House?
It does.
And is it the author's withdrawn? To your knowledge, are all of these people actual employees the company Penguin Random House?
Yes.
No further questions.
Can we just put that last exhibit up, please, and turn to the second page, 414G? We don't have these exhibits, so we needed to ask the people to put it up.
All right, you can put it up.
If you can highlight the last paragraph, just blow it up, please. Is this the second page of what you were just reading from, Acknowledgements?
I believe so, yes.
And
Yes.
you can look at it if you need to, that's okay.
Okay.
And this is the second page of the Acknowledgements. You read the first, a portion of the first page. And that's just Meredith McIver listing folks that she wants to thank also for her help, correct?
Yes.
No further questions.
That's it?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
You can step down.
Okay, thank you.